Good afternoon. Here we are. We've been sent a Papa Grande by Vamos. This is the Model 2, which is their latest version, and I've been asked to do a service and also a bit of a review, and it's with a lot of interest that I've had a look at this model, and overall I'm fairly happy with it. It's reasonably well made. I wouldn't class it as a premium tricycle. I would say it's more of a mid-market tricycle. This one's had a few bingles, as you can see on the side. The customer's fallen off it a couple of times, and yeah, it's pretty nice. The braking system in it works really well. It's got a good sized bag on the back, but the front has a rack, and that's a bit strange because you can't hold anything on it without ocky straps. The other problem they've had is the front light here was connected back here, so when the suspension would go up and down, it just smashed into the light. So that was pretty useless, so we've moved that. But yeah, there's a lot of corrosion coming up on it. You can see down here near the chain guard, it's rusting. And there's a lot of corrosion on the actual spokes. Let's go and have a look. If you get down to the base of the spoke, it's actually corroding where it attaches to the rim, and that means that they're probably going to pull out of the rim fairly shortly. Some of the hardware on it is a bit how you're going, and it's starting to rust, but overall it's a fairly good, what I would call a mid-market tricycle. The seat on it is really quite strange to me. It has this nice looking backrest, which appears to be really good for riding, but it's flexible. So I don't know if you can see this, but it just bends backwards. So any strength or movement that you put on it is as good as useless. You can slide straight off the back of the seat. This thing just bends down. Also, the seating position. The seating position means that the handlebars, which are non-adjustable, are a long way from this seat. Now I'm 6'2", quite tall, and I can reach it without any trouble, but even I find that I'm leaning forward a little bit. If you're a shorter rider, you'll have the seat lower, but there's still an awful long way between the handlebars and the seat, so you'll find that you're leaning forward. There is adjustment in the handlebars, but only really up and down. It's going to always remain in line with this stalk here, which is carrying the handlebars. You do have a little bit of control on the handlebar angle, but you certainly can't move it backwards closer to the rider. That's going to affect a lot of smaller riders. So if you're sort of small, this is not the tricycle for you because you won't be happy with it. Control wise, we can come around, and I'll just turn it on by pressing the on button on the display. It wakes up with a welcome screen. It is basically a two-colour display, so it's white for some of it, blue for other parts, and it does make it a little bit difficult to read. This model has a thumb activated throttle on it, which I find to be quite good. This particular bike has 539 kilometres, and it seems to ride nice. The brakes are good. It's got I think an 8-speed Shimano system in this. The light on it, I don't know if that's standard or not, but it's not very great, to be honest. There's, as I mentioned, a lot of corrosion happening on this tricycle, and that is not what you would expect from a premium tricycle, or what is sold as a premium tricycle. This unit hasn't had a hard life, from what I'm led to believe. I'm just going to tip it over on its side and we can have a closer look. So in here on the disc, there's quite a lot of corrosion. There's also something really strange here which I want to point out to you. That I can get it in shot, is the brake caliper. And you can see that it's all shiny on the side of it. So what that means is that somebody, or not somebody, but as it's being ridden, the actual spokes have been touching on the brake caliper here, and they've taken off all the paint and also a fairly decent amount of the aluminium as well. That's not something what I'd expect, and it seems to be not so great. Down underneath here in the drive line, we've got a lot of rust on the chain. Depending on where you live, that's to be expected. The actual construction of the frame seems to be fairly solid. Where the basket mounts to is also fairly solid. So it looks like a tricycle that's going to last a long time. It's just these rust problems are a real issue for me. Something that needs to be addressed. Other areas of rust are underneath the mudguard brackets that we can see here. It's a bit hard to see them, but also it makes it impossible to tighten them up. You've got to pretty much let the tyre down or take the wheel off. Battery mounting is also something I'd bring into question. Your battery needs to be held nice and secure, but I don't know if you can see that so well, but the battery moves around a significant amount because it's just not mounted securely. It's only mounted to a thin section on the back of the seat post. This shaking while you're riding is going to prematurely damage the battery. In summary, it's a fairly good tricycle. It's a lot shorter than some other tricycles, so its steering is very, very crisp. That may catch out some people, but yeah, for people that are experienced, it's not so bad. The steering is very sharp, but it does become a little bit unstable at high speeds. This is sold as a premium quality tricycle, and the price reflects that, but honestly it's probably closer to a mid-market tricycle. It's not got super advanced features that would give it a premium rating. Its manufacture is fairly good, but the fact that the handlebars are so far away from the seat is going to be a real issue for older riders, especially small women. They're going to have a lot of difficulty controlling the bike because they'll be leaning forward. The tyres on here are really no brand tyres. There's no puncture resistance or anything like that. But I keep coming back to this rust. You don't expect this level of rust on a premium tricycle after only 6 months of use. This has only got 600 kilometres on it, and already it's showing some reasonably significant signs of wear. Okay, I'm just going to try the hill climbing ability. So I've got the bike in setting number 5, which is its most powerful. I'm currently pedalling. I'll just wait for this car to pass. Oh, another car. Okay, I'm going to go using throttle, and I'm at full throttle and we're climbing the hill. So we're up to 20 kilometres an hour, 22. This is a fairly decent hill. You can't tell from the video obviously, but it's a fairly decent hill, and yeah, it's dropping back a bit. So overall the power is pretty good. I'm down to 15, under 15 and slowing. Yeah, it seems to be holding just under 15 kilometres an hour. So that's pretty good for this size motor, and it's what I'd expect from the bike without pedalling. We're just going to go down this hill and we'll see how the brakes perform. So I'm holding the camera with one hand and we're rolling with the other. So I'm going to use the back brakes. So we're up to 25 kilometres an hour, and the brakes are working fairly well. I'm not going to be able to lock up the wheels, but they're nice and solid and they are slowing me down. I'll just roll through because I've got a car coming up behind me fairly quickly who'll be wanting the road. And there he goes. We'll dive back into the park. Well, that's it. Just a quick overview of the Vamos Papa Grande 2 electric tricycle, sold in Australia as a premium model. But what I'm really disappointed about is the rust on it after only 6 months and 600 kilometres, and the fact that it's really a mid-market tricycle. I also note there's issues with the power delivery. It could be just this particular unit, or it could be consistent with all models. But if you're on a bit of a hill, or you've got a bit of a heavier weight on and use the throttle to get going, you just get this jerkiness. The bike wants to pull away, but it won't start. You've actually got to get it going. It's like it just doesn't have enough power to get off the mark. Even if I've just put one leg on the ground, it still holds it in position. Not what I'd expect out of this type of tricycle. Anyway, that's it for me. Have a great day.